incredible writer, Charles Bukoski. He's crazy, Charles Bukoski.
Charles Bukoski.
That's right, Bukoski. So, this is called Red Beach, and let me just give you guys a quick breakdown as to what's going to be happening. Right here, to my right, we have Igor Amokian. He is a circuit vendor, beat producer, live beat maker.
Thank you very much.
He's got his own little thing here that he's created, but I can't even explain it. So what we'll have is Maestro Gamin will start up the reading, and we're going to be reading Bukoski over live soundtracking happening right here. And we're going to just see how it works out.
I'm on channel 2, right?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Maestro Gamin, Igor Amokian. Yeah.
You see, he had been fighting it for years. That thing about women in supermarkets bending over or just pushing their carts along. He felt like grabbing a buttock and squeezing. Hardly a sexual thing, more like a weird joke. Just something else to do besides the ordinary. More in camaraderie than desire. He didn't know why his mind worked that way. And he realized that one of the niceties of civilization was the right to unmolested privacy. But there he was, rolling along, and he passed a lady bending over in the frozen food section. She wasn't attractive. Her cheeks sagged beneath a loose house dress, and he saw his hand go out. There it goes, he thought, and the hand grabbed one of the buttocks, and he squeezed, and then let go. And it felt like an old beach ball, underinflated, soft, and he looked, and he smiled, and the lady screamed. It was a scream of one being murdered. Then after the tick of a second, he stopped and yelled. She stopped and yelled. That son of a bitch assaulted me! She pointed the deathly finger attached to the end of her trembling right arm at him. He grabbed my ass! He saw a fat man in a yellow sweater and orange walking shorts running toward him. The fat man's face was florid with indignation. The fat man circled him, got an arm lock on him from behind, jammed his shoulder up into his neck, yelling, "What's the matter with you, buddy?" The fat man had the most terrible case of body odor. It was worse than the pain in his arm. Then out of nowhere, a cop arrived, and he heard the handcuffs click behind him, then felt the vicious grip of the cuffs and a rat behind his ear. He was dragged through the supermarket and then outside. It was early evening, going into night, and he was shoved into the back seat of a police car. The faces of the crowd looked in at him as the cop in front spoke into the radio. The red lights whirled, and he remembered the last thing Meg had said. Don't forget the paprika. I know you're going to forget the paprika. Nice try. Best dream I ever had, I could fly in this dream. I flew over the fields and the dry brown hills, and below me men, women, and children were running. And then my flying mechanism began to fail, falter, and I began to fall slowly toward them, and they reached up their hands and they tried to grab me. But through the sheer and damnable will, I forced myself to fly. Up. Again. Out of their reach, and with that, it got easier and easier. And I flew up, through the clouds, and out into the sunlight. When I awakened, I was on the drunk tank floor of the old Lincoln Heights jail at North Avenue 21. And not only didn't I have any wings, all I had was my property slip and somebody was puking into the toilet. Maybe I'd be an angel some other time. Are you gonna do something? Are you gonna drink water on that? You can drink water and read a poem. Where's Peter? We were starving, yet drinking. Living in a cheap apartment, always behind in the wind. There wasn't much else to do but screw, and I was working away, pumping, determined to make it. I had failed at everything else. I wanted to make it at that. I groaned, pumped, flailed, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so near, so near. It was so ridiculous, in a certain sense. And I finally I felt myself nearing the climax. Victory at last. And at the exact moment I climaxed, for no reason, the alarm clock went off, and I rolled off of her, laughing and spurting, and she asked angrily, "What's the matter with you?" And that made it worse. I kept laughing, and she ran to the bathroom, slammed the door, and I wiped off on the sheet as the clock sat there innocently reading 2:30 p.m. This is amazing to be reading from this book all the time. This is Bukoski 81 through 84, and it's just amazing to be reading this right now, drunk as shit, in the King Eddys saloon to a bunch of people who may give a shit. I think you do actually, but it's just, this is perfect. I expect Mickey Rourke to be showing up soon. And very angry, or maybe not. He's more like a wise man nowadays, so I think he's learning to keep playing. Here we go. Almost fell over. Sometimes you're liked for all the wrong reasons, or hated for all the wrong reasons, or given credit where there is none. I once lived with a woman who said that I was the funniest man she had ever met, and she often laughed when I said something serious. "Oh," she laughed, "you ought to be in the entertainment business." But then I tried to be funny, and she'd say, "What the hell do you mean by that? You're not funny." I finally figured it out. The truth is the funniest thing around because you seldom ever hear it. And when you do, it astonishes you into laughter. And when you try to be funny, you often exaggerate the truth, and that's not funny at all. Well, this woman and I finally separated, and the next one never said whether I was funny or not. She just switched on the TV and laughed, right along with the laugh track while I sat, demeaned and depressed. That's 4 pieces. That's 4 poems. I'm going to turn this over, and I've got a whole book, and a whole lot of sticky notes and shit. Dylan Doren, you have a piece you'd like to say? Everybody, Los Angeles, this is Dylan Doren.
There's a blue bird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a blue bird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke. The whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he is there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. You want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow the book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes, when everybody's asleep. I know that you are there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, and he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. We sleep together like that. Our secret pact. It's nice enough to make a man weep, but I do not weep. Do you? Dark taste in mouth. Neck is stiff. I am looking for my sonic vibrator. The music on the radio. The bees. The wind of death seep through my slippers. And a terrible letter in the mail today from a pale non-soul who requests that they may come see me in repayment. He says for a ride he gave me home from a drunken Pasadena party 20 years ago. Also, the cat shit on the rug this morning. And the first race, I bet this afternoon the horse cost the jock coming out the gate. Downstairs, I have a large photo of Hemingway, drunk, noon, in Havana. He's on the floor, mouth open, his big pot belly trying to flop out his shirt. I feel like that photo, but I'm not even drunk. Maybe that's the problem. Whatever the problem is, it's there, and worse. It shouldn't be. For I have been a lucky man. I shouldn't even be here. After all I've done to myself, after all that they have done to me, I ought to be kneeling to the gods and giving thanks. Instead, I dread their kindness, being impatient with the world. Maybe a damn good night's sleep will bring me back to a gentle sanity. But at this moment, I look about this room like myself. It is a disarray. Things fallen out of place, cluttered, jumbled, lost, knocked over, and I can't put it straight. I don't want to. Perhaps living through these pretty days, we will get through the dangerous ones. Thank you. My name is Doren.